And all right, let's go ahead and call it right there. How are you, Mike?
Hello.
Welcome to both mics.
Doing well. Welcome to both mics, a show about everything and nothing. That's Mike Sofka.
And that is Mike Taylor right there. And together we are both Mikes. Thank you for joining us here.
Welcome with show number 24.
24.
Heard everywhere a podcast can be heard.
I should get a good graphic for each show and put that up.
Like a cool 24? Yeah, because I never remember,
That would make us too professional, though. That would make us look like we're...
You send me an email, you send me some subjects we're going to go over, you actually tell me the number, and then here we are 10 minutes later, and I'm like, number, David.
Well, wherever you're listening or watching us from, we appreciate it, but we're all over the place. Wherever you find stuff on the video there, it shows a small portion of where we're at.
Yep, iHeartRadio, YouTube, that other one.
How was your week, Mike? How's it been going?
Good. It was started off with the 9 to 5, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then after Wednesday, we piled the little kids into the car and decided to drive from Florida to Texas.
Ah, that's why the different background there. You're outside.
Yep.
Where are you at in Texas?
I'm in a little town called Medina. It is the apple capital of Texas.
Medina, Medina.
Midina, yeah.
Is that where Tone Loc is from?
Where what is from?
Tone Loc. Do you know who Tone Loc is?
Yep. He actually he works in the apple orchard across the street. See him out there picking some Red Delicious earlier today. The apple season in Texas is earlier than most places like Washington State. It's in the fall, but here in Texas it's June, July, and it actually happens to be blackberry season. So we're gonna go out there and pick some blackberries, maybe shoot some guns.
Nice.
In Texas.
I like it. What kind of gun you gonna shoot?
I don't know. Last time I was here, we shot guns. I actually shot a .357 Magnum. You ever shoot a .357 Magnum?
Yes, I have. My
first instinct was to drop it. That's how much it freaking hurt when that thing went off. Brenda has a little Kimmer gun, I guess it's called. Brian has all kinds of different stuff, Berettas and whatnot. And
machine
he actually
guns, cannons.
Yeah, yeah, and he actually carries all the time, especially during his fall festival. He'll actually have a gun on him the entire time. But that .357 was a shock when I shot that thing, and my first instinct was to drop it. I didn't drop it, but my first instinct was just to drop it because it just felt like someone hit me on my hand with a baseball bat. That's what it felt like.
Yeah,
not cool, but
crazy.
And But he's replanting a lot of his crop now. He's got dwarf apple trees, which run about 12 to 15 feet tall, and he does a lot of apples. He does apple cider, apple this, apple that. His store, it's called the Apple Store, and it was the Apple Store before the Apple Store.
Nice, I like it.
So he was actually no one's bothered him about the name, but it's Love Creek Orchards in Medina, Texas, and they have been considered by Texas Monthly Magazine to have the best apple pie in the state of Texas.
Nice.
He uses 5 pounds of apples, and it's gigantic. Me, I don't like apple pie. Yeah, whatever. Give me some apple ice cream. I'll eat the apple ice cream. But everybody says that his apple pie is fantastic.
Well, so, do you have my address?
I do have your address.
Good. Just give it to him so he can send me an apple pie. That'd be great.
123 Easy Street, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And that's Bithlo, or is that Christmas?
Yes, it's halfway in between. Yes, it's Bith Christmas.
Bithlo and Christmas. Look for the green rock. Go 2 mobile homes down, and there is the Sofka Castle.
Nice.
Right.
I actually did some show prep today, and I actually...
What?
Yeah, I know. It's freaking crazy.
That's impossible. If you did show prep, we'd be on Twitch right now.
Yeah, right. You would think. No, that would be if I was technically good, but technically I'm no good. We discussed this last week.
Yes. Well, living on a prayer.
There's some news about Southwest Airlines in the news here. Did you hear that a Southwest passenger
Smith is too fat to fly?
What's that?
Kevin Smith is too fat to fly? Is that
right?
Story?
Southwest passenger accused of knocking out a flight attendant's 2 teeth has been banned from the airline.
I heard something about this.
This is according to NBC News. A Southwest passenger, Chris Maines is the Southwest spokesman. Says that on Friday, Viviana Quinones is now restricted from ever flying on Southwest Airlines again. She has been advised this decision is final. Quinones, 28, hit a flight attendant during a confrontation. A statement from Southwest said she had repeatedly ignored standard in-flight instructions and became verbally and physically abusive upon landing. Paramedics took the flight attendant to Scripps Memorial Hospital. Yada, 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 yada. This lady was arrested and charged with battery, causing serious bodily injury, and taken to Las Colinas detention facility.
That's California, right?
Yeah, it's from a port in San Diego.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. In a typical year, the FAA, the agency sees 100 to 150 formal cases of bad passenger behavior. Since the start of this year, that number has jumped to 2,500.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, people are freaking out. That's whatever.
Including 1,900 passengers who refused to comply with the federal mask mandate.
Wow. Yeah, there you go.
There's a lot of tension still. You can't travel now. You got to do like you do, pile in the car and hope for the best.
Oh, dude, we got on the highway, and we got on 95, we got on 295, and we barely get across the St. Johns River to get to I-10 to come west.
Traffic.
And first thing we see is a car spins out and smashes into the barrier in the middle. Like, is this any indication of what we're going to see along the way? But perfect weather, no rain. Every time we got close to the E on the tank, there was a Buc-ee's not too far away. So we hit 4 Buc-ee's on the way to San Antonio.
Nice.
Yeah. So the kids were happy.
Nice. You know what you're going to have to do when you're doing them gun shooting? You're going to have to get some video of that to me, and we'll put it up on the thing, or you put it up, or somebody put it up. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, we can do that if we do. Who knows?
Stop. You know you're going to shoot a gun.
We have a limited amount of time here.
How can you have the opportunity to shoot a gun, but you're not going to shoot a gun? That's crazy.
Dude, I tell you the truth, I think I've only shot shotguns once, and that was the last time. It was the first time I ever shot a gun was that one time when I shot the 357.
Well, I can understand trepidation in shooting guns now, especially because, there's a shortage of ammo. You can't really find ammo. So now you're hugging that ammo close to your chest, whereas you may have come over there and fired off 100 rounds in the past. Maybe this time you're going to do 5 rounds or something, you know?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a gun in this room somewhere.
Oh,
there's a stapler right there. I wouldn't be surprised.
But it reminds me of times in the past where I've gone shooting with people and stuff, and they have a room filled with ammunition and weapons and stuff, like a whole room full of this shit. And so I'm talking to one of them again not long ago, and I mentioned, hey, it's a good thing you're stocked up on ammo. He goes, yeah, I'm just pissed off all those rounds I wasted fucking around. Jesus. You have a room full of ammunition and weapons, and you're upset because you don't have enough ammunition and weapons. I think that's hilarious.
It popped off, yeah.
Freaking great.
Yeah.
Well, it's time for our alien update. I know. I know we do this all the time here, but that's okay because I like doing it.
Buzz-looking alien! Where? Warning! Alien approaching! Warning! Biophysical experiments extremely dangerous for Earth people.
It's a pretty good robot. He's of an alien too, but I think he's an alien. You could be an alien robot, right? Like not all robots are domestic.
I computed the aliens. They are capable of sinister and dangerous acts.
You weird alien man!
All right, so Mike, explain to everybody why we do the alien update. What are we talking about here? Maybe we have a first-time listener who doesn't know what the alien update is. Even after looking at that beautiful video, they don't know.
Yeah, lack of show prep, and it's easy.
No.
It's called, in the mortgage industry, it's called low-hanging fruit.
No. It's because these clowns are always in the news.
Pandering to the least common denominator?
Yes. Look, I like talking about Musk, Bezos, Zuckerberg, Gates, all these guys. I'm convinced they're aliens, and they always do crazy stuff. And it's a lot of times it's like Musk and Bezos are always banging heads, and Musk is like the bully or the instigator, the antagonist. Before I get into that part of it, though, let me share with you. Tesla cars will not. Being we brought up Musk, Tesla cars will now spy on you to make sure that you're not doing the autopilot thing yourself in a PR disaster. So in other words,
in the back seat.
Yeah, that guy we talked about. I guess they're trying to control their customers that way. Relax, Mike. Sit down. We know where you're going. We will take you there.
Is that comfortable?
Yes, right. It's like that 2001 Space Odyssey with the computer taking over.
Is there anything I can do to make you feel better?
What kind of accessory is that? The shades go up on the windows.
Right. The music. Bow, chicka, bow, bow,
Nice.
Chicka, bow, bow.
I should have thought of that. I should have had that. That would have been a great thing for the show. But anyway, I digress. Look, I think the autopilot feature has gotten into some hot water over the past couple years, but Tesla's making it clear it's not a self-driving system. They're trying to get to that point. It has self-driving features, but they're ixnay on the self-driving.
Right.
Which I don't understand, but it is what it is. I did see the other day on a video randomly searching, there's a guy that put a Tesla motor in an Audi.
Audi?
Tesla motor in the front, all the batteries in the back, 13 of the 16 batteries in the back in the trunk. He still had trunk space. He had 3 of the modules up front where his radiator would be, and where the entire block and the entire engine would be was this Tesla coil thing and another thing next to it. And it was impressive, and a guy started talking to him. They struck up a conversation. He had witnessed this Audi drive by without making a sound, and it stopped like a block away. So he ran over there with his camera and started talking to the guy. And sure enough, it was an electric Audi. And talking to the guy, this is kind of what he does. He does build outs and stuff, and he makes electric cars. This time he used all Tesla product.
Well, I think we talked briefly about the F-150 last week or the week before, somewhere along the line, maybe, or I'm hallucinating. But I was talking to my wife on the road trip here, and she says that the new F-150 electric truck actually has space in the front now to have a trunk.
Crazy.
So you have your pickup in the back, and in the front you lift the hood up, and there's your engine, and there's your trunk area to put, that you can fit luggage and stuff of that nature.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like you put a barbecue grill in there, and then by the time you get to your destination, your brisket is smoked already.
You put the grill in the front, and you put your luggage in the back.
Yeah, why not?
With the Mexicans.
Well, if you put your luggage in the front, your underwear is going to get hot, isn't it? Next to the engine.
Pre-warm panties.
Nothing like walking around rubbing your crotch all day because your underwear are too hot while you're in the Texas heat. How hot was it today in Texas, Mike? Do you know?
It actually wasn't that bad. I think it was. Let me see. What does the phone say? Medina. Right now it says it's 84 degrees, and we had a high of 86. It feels like 88, so it's the humidity.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about the humidity in Florida, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is oppressive humidity in Texas. It's like you walk outside and someone threw a wet blanket on you. It just, ugh, it's gross.
It was pretty warm in Florida today. Same type situation. So
Same time, let's see. Let me do a little switcheroony here. And St. Augustine, Florida, 80 degrees and 60% chance of rain.
was it 80 now, or was it 80 the high?
It says 80 right now. Feels like 83. The high was 86. So roughly the same.
Yeah, but that's you though. You're on the coast. You got the breeze coming in, right? I'm sure it was hotter in Orlando today.
And where I grew up,
Nice.
in Jersey.
Nice. 51.
And 51 and rainy. Look at all that rain.
It's May 28th and it's 51 degrees. Are you friggin' kidding me?
Yeah, dude. I couldn't believe it. I went through it earlier, and it's going to be like an overnight. It's going to get down to 46 degrees. 46 degrees overnight tonight in Park Ridge, New Jersey.
All right, well, while we're on
656.
the alien update here, I don't want to get off track here. They're coming out with a thing. There was an article I saw online. You know, we talked about Amazon Prime Day coming up. It's going to be like a series of days. I don't know if they've announced the day yet. But they're coming out. Somebody came out, according to the New York Times and the Wirecutter.com, they've come out with an article here saying there's 5 deals you should avoid on Amazon Prime Day. They're saying that some of these deals aren't the deals you think they are. No-name brands, I guess you shouldn't buy on Amazon, I guess.
Right.
They're saying headphones. When it comes to electronics, no-name items are made essentially by slapping together parts that are available for cheap directly from manufacturers. For example, a manufacturer might mold a part from a premium brand like Sony, but once Sony's order is filled, the manufacturer can sell knockoff parts to no-name companies by pouring a cheaper, less durable plastic into the same mold. The resulting headphones will look just like Sony's, but probably won't perform as well. You never know until you click and buy.
Yeah, well, they do that all the time. I used to work in a supermarket, and like the ice cream, the Pathmark premium ice cream, was actually made by Breyers. I opened up a bottle of Tylenol or acetaminophen, store brand acetaminophen.
Mm-hmm.
Opened it up, took the cotton out, poured out the aspirin, and it actually said Tylenol on the freaking pill.
Wow.
So, yeah. So all these knockoffs and generics and stuff are actually made by a premium company.
Wow.
Whether or not it's whether it's the stuff that sweep off the floor, or a lesser durable product or lesser, the ingredients are not as the best quality. They have the facilities there. They just it's all made in the same place.
So among the other things that they're saying that are no-name brands that you shouldn't buy, air purifiers and masks. So I get it, but the thing that really struck me is they're saying some of these deals are not deals. Stay away from overhyped products like air fryers. I guess they're all the rage. I got one. I use it. I love it. My wife just made brownies in the air fryer last night.
Really?
Yeah, it was freaking crazy.
Coming from San Antonio up here to Medina, Brenda actually mentioned, buying an air fryer.
$100, dude. It was the best $100 I spent in a long time.
Yeah. It like we got one for my nephew for Christmas this past year. His nephew and his girlfriend, and we bought one for someone else, and we don't even have one ourselves. So she was talking about it. So I guess it's on the things to buy list. So now, real quick, look at the picture.
Yeah.
What? The dollar bill that's there.
Yes.
I know this makes for great video.
Yes. For great audio.
Why is it? What great great radio? Why is it underneath there and not where the cheese would normally go on a mousetrap?
I didn't think the whole thing through when I downloaded that picture illegally from the article I'm talking about. So I just went with it. But okay. You bring up a good point. Who moved the cheese?
Yes. Building a better mousetrap.
Yeah. No, you would think that the money would be where the cheese is, but then you couldn't. I guess you couldn't really see that little hook thing that holds the cheese and the bill would. I don't know.
Yeah, be confused, right? Yeah, makes no sense. All right, continue.
No, I appreciate you bringing that up. Shit.
You're full of crap.
So the other thing is they're saying, I guess on Amazon you can spend $50 to save 10. Like if you gotta keep your guard up to know if you're getting a great deal. In other words, if you don't have to spend a bunch of money to save a bunch of money. Don't get sucked into that, is what I'm saying.
You don't save money by spending money.
Look, sir, we know you're buying the meal here for lunch, and it's $6, and it comes with 2 cheeseburgers, fries, and a drink. What we'd like to do is offer you 600 of those at a savings of $1 per. That means you're going to save $600. Sign here, please. I mean, why would you? You're by yourself. You just want 2 burgers. I'm using a story here to say, yeah, don't get caught up in buying more than you need to save $10. It's not worth it. You've had mixed experiences with Amazon. You had packages show up or got put on hold for like a month, and then you reordered it, and a second order came in, if I remember.
Yep. I believe it was a simple shower curtain. That was on the slow boat from China, and I canceled that order and never got a refund, and then I had a reorder, and I got the second one like 2 days before the first one showed up, and then to turn around to try to send back the first one, you go to print the address tag, and the address tag was like someone like this just made a bunch of letters on the keyboard, so there was no address to send it back to. So if you couldn't send it back, they couldn't get it back and give you refund your money.
We have no returns. We put out 10,000 units and we have 0 returns.
Yep. And so I had to make a couple calls to Amazon. They finally refunded. It was like a $23 or $39, something like that. And I still have the package with the label on it in the closet in the office, ready to go back when they give me a real address.
Nice.
Yeah, well, not happening.
Part of our alien update, of course, we got to talk about Jeff Bezos. We talked about Amazon here, Amazon Prime. Bezos is stepping down as Amazon CEO. And according to Business Insider, this signals that we're nearing the end of the founder/CEO era in big tech. They're saying that, and if you think about it, and if you do some research online, there's a lot of friggin' big name, high-end people, CEOs, presidents of companies, founders of companies. Google that over the past 2 years and see how many of them have stepped down. There's something in the water. When you go to a lake and you see a bunch of fish floating, there's a problem in there. There's a problem there. That's what's going on with these CEOs. There's something going on that we're not being told. Is this a way he can sell down some of those stocks like we talked about before without setting off widespread panic and devaluing the stocks again? Is this a trick?
Or is it just a guy who is burnt out? Dude, you can get burnt out in any industry, especially mortgage industry and car industry, because it's always it's the last week of the month, last day of the month, last week of the month. Get him in. Come on, we're close. Push. Dude, it's a flipping car.
Yeah,
Dude,
I know.
It's a mortgage. If it doesn't close this week, the mortgage is going to close next week. Just freaking take a pill.
And your tailgate still won't work. Anyway, Andy.
Exactly. Oh, dude.
Go ahead. Let me hear it.
$1,075.
Okay.
The part is like $900.
Yeah.
And it's literally 2 bolts up top, 2 bolts down the bottom. Pull off the little grommet, unplug, plug, put the 4 bolts back in.
So you're doing it yourself, or you done it yourself, or what?
Now, it's probably charge of an hour, maybe 2 hours labor, but the part is $900. So
who's paying for that?
Well, yeah, it would be us, but I'm going to get an aftermarket part. Aftermarket has OEM parts for like $375.
All right, here's what you need to do. You need to save that receipt for that part. and you need to go to that GM and that dealership, and you need to ask kindly for that your money back. That he needs to pay for that, and I think if you ask in the right way, it will. But don't leave there without him thinking that you won't tell everybody and their mother up and down the coast there that this happened and you were hung out to dry with an $1,100 bill or whatever. I would just make it make sense to him that the social media, the emails, all the stuff that could happen from this can just go away if you just write me the check for $1,000. And he will. He'll write the check if he's any type of businessman, because that $1,000 cannot undo what one unhappy customer can do. And I know $1,000 is a lot of money, and you're thinking, crap, is that really going to happen? I've been in the car business for a long friggin' time, and I've seen checks a lot larger than that get signed out for a lot less than that. I'm telling you, go get your money back.
I'll have to look into it. We'll see.
All right. Well, think about it. Think about it in relative terms. If you go to McDonald's and you're like, these fries weren't real hot, they'll probably give you new fries, right?
Right.
Okay. He had the opportunity to give you a new tailgate. Didn't happen. So now we're at the next point where now the second batch of fries you gave me still sucked, so I want my money back. And 9 times out of 10, if you talk to the manager, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get to some reasonable compromise or something. And ideally, you'll get all your money back. And I implore you to do that. We don't have to make it part of the show. I'm sorry for bringing it up and all that. But I think it'd be interesting to follow along with it on the show. I think it's great. So anyway, this guy, Andy Jassy, a longtime lieutenant of Bezos and CEO of the company's booming cloud business, will replace him in the third quarter of 2021. But that doesn't mean Bezos is done with Amazon, according to BusinessInsider.com. He'll be stepping into a new role as executive chairman that will involve weighing in on big picture decisions like product strategy and new products. So they're saying, they go on to say, listen to this. If that sounds familiar, it should be. Bezos is officially a member of the club elite tech founders who have moved on from their role as CEO to focus on steering major strategic decisions and other grandiose projects. And they have a name for these people. I came across this was great. And I don't mean those people. According to Business Insider, Bezos' move means a few of the biggest United States-based technology companies are still being run by their founders. Of the FANG companies, that's F-A-A-N-G, all capitalized, it's an acronym. Of those stock companies, FANG, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, only Facebook and Netflix still have founders in the CEO role. The case is the same with the big 5 tech companies, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Alphabet, and Microsoft. Only Facebook still has its founder as its CEO. I just find it quite curious, quite interesting that this is... The guy's always bitching about Blue Origin and Musk is always needling him a little bit.
Well, maybe he's going to run away and hide, you know? There's not always an angle behind it. You know, when the guy started Amazon at like 95?
94.
You know, 94. And it was just books.
Yep.
And I thought it was going to crash and burn, and it sucked, and it was dumb and all that. You know, it goes to show my business sense, right? Well, you ever see those things? If you could tell your younger self in 1995 3 words, what would it be?
Buy Apple.
Like, you know... Yeah, people would be like, "Oh, you know, be strong, be willing, have you know, excel in this." No, Yahoo, Microsoft, Apple. That's the only 3 words I want to tell you, buddy.
Well, back in the
Young
day
Mike
when
Taylor.
all those companies were coming out in the 90s, when we had that big tech rush, I was part of a game that you played. It was like fantasy stock portfolios. Like you could do all this stuff with stocks, not risk any money, and it's all pretend. I killed at that shit. I was on it.
Yep.
And then, of course, you know, I didn't back that up with real money, unfortunately. So we,
Well,
yeah.
were you dealing in real stocks, or was it the
No,
stocks
they were
that
real stocks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
real thing.
Well, in the late '90s, tech stocks was like fishing with dynamite.
Yeah.
And when it went bust, it went bust.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you said
excuse me.
run away and hide before, because Amazon has a new wellness room in their warehouses, I guess. This
Did I
is
tell you my niece works at Amazon?
this is so
in
you
the-
have your
in the
safe
warehouse?
space, Mike. I know you said your niece works there. Does she like it?
Yeah, she really does. You know,
Well, they have
But
a
it's
mindful
a little
practice
bit-
room. It looks like a
has
phone
a-
booth. There's a picture of it on the video here. Amazon, this is according to the BBC.com. Amazon plans to put wellness chambers in its warehouses so that stressed out workers can sit inside and watch videos about relaxation.
The hood rats that work in Amazon warehouses, the hood rats are going to be in there banging away. That's all it is. Hey, honey, I'll meet you in the bang room.
Did you ever see the remake of the Get Smart?
With
The remake
Carell?
of the Get Smart
Yeah.
show. Remember the Get Smart show
Yeah.
from back in
Wow.
the day? Okay.
Yeah,
They did a remake
Don
movie of that
Adams.
about 15 years ago or so, and I think it had the guy from The Office in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, yeah, the Steve Carell guy, right? Wasn't he like Inspector Gadget or whatever Get Smart guy? Isn't Inspector Gadget?
No, that's
the
a
same
different
guy?
thing entirely.
No,
Yeah.
Don
But
Item.
He would go
Item.
into the cone of silence. Like, so they gave him good news. So he excused himself from the table, went into the cone of silence. But the cone of silence wasn't activated properly, and you could hear and see everything he was doing in the cone of silence. This obviously has something over all the glass. It looks like a phone booth. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. I mean, is
What's
this
it say?
crazy?
Mindful
Mindful practice room, yeah. It's because we all need safe spaces at work, Mike. Don't be so rash.
If the mindful practice room is shaking, don't come a knocking. Is that what's it called? Mindful.
Here, I'll move it
Sound like
over
that
some so you can see it better, maybe.
Mindful practition.
Yeah, right. No,
Prac-
I'm
prac-
not gonna fuck with it anymore, there, because I'm gonna screw
Yeah.
something else up. You're just gonna have to
don't-
trust me. Look, I think it's
Yeah.
a problem. I think if you think about it, a few years ago, especially on college campuses, and I'm not gonna get into political stuff with the college education and all that stuff, but what I'm trying to say is, do you remember where there was a time where the universities had to establish safe spaces because people
Yeah,
were getting
yeah.
their feelings hurt?
Yeah,
This is
a
the
lot
same
of,
thing.
A lot of professional comedians stopped doing the college circuit because of the safe spaces and the snowflakes that were occupying their, that come into their shows at the colleges and stuff. So they stopped doing shows there.
So now this, if I went to tell my boss today, like, if I had a boss, if I went to tell my,
I was going to say, how is Lisa doing?
it would say, hey, buck up, buckaroo, get back in there. No. Now, nowadays, I know you have to be a little more sensitive, so they would sit down with you and kindly put their hand on your knee and nod like they're emotionally involved and caring in your situation, when actually they don't give a shit. They just wanted you to get your ass back out there and get to work. That's why you're
Dude,
here.
when I was in my 20s, before I found out what a work ethic is, I've had bosses that would scream at me
Yeah.
so much that sweat would pop off their forehead and spit would be coming out of their mouth.
Now, what
screaming
would
and
you do
yelling.
to have a boss scream at you? Why would somebody scream at you, Mike?
Because I would fuck up and, I would put the wrong size cantaloupes up at the big cantaloupes with the small cantaloupes and, yeah.
You were putting the C cups with the D cups?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All the time. I don't know. I would do. Yeah. I'd be given a list of things to do for the night, and then I would come in the next day, and he'd be like, "Why weren't these things done?" I'd be like, "I don't know. I had other shit to do, like nothing."
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've been in those situations. I was in a warehouse situation like that when I was like in my teens, late teens, and it was actually at the Discount Auto Parts warehouse before Discount Auto Parts was really huge. They just really had stores in Florida, but they had about just under 100 stores when I joined them, and I was in the shipping department, and they had pickers all over the warehouse, and they would pull these parts, put them in bins, and then the bins or boxes or cases of products would come down this belt, and they'd have numbers and a series on them, and I would put those numbers on certain pallets in certain areas. Then we'd shrink wrap the pallets, then you get on a pallet jack and load them in the truck. And I took pride in my work. I was like, I was hitting it. I was the man. They friggin' loved me there. And then finally, like 3 or 4 of them pulled me aside and said, "What the fuck are you doing?" I said, "Why?" And they go, "You need to slow it down. You're making us all look like shit." And I was like, "Well, work harder." And they were like, "Why?"
Yeah, it's like
shit. I'm screwing up the curve. I didn't know.
Sentences. Yeah, it's because you spoke full sentences. You know.
Yes. Yes.
Your eyes weren't red and glassy. Yeah, I had a friend who worked in the shipping department, and he would screw off all the time, and they decided to fire him. And the problem was they fired him during lunch on a Friday, and they told him to finish out the rest of the day, and then he would be done. And he was the guy who put the address labels on the boxes. Yeah. So, yeah, it was a big mistake for them to fire him before they actually escorted him out the door.
You're fired, but finish your job before you go, will you?
Yeah, finish your job addressing these boxes to go around the country. And, yeah, when he said when he left, he waved goodbye, but he didn't use all his fingers. Yeah.
Hey, you know, today while we're recording this, it's National Hamburger Day. Did you know that?
Today?
Yes.
Wow. And we're having pizza for dinner.
Yes,
Who
perfect,
knew?
right?
Wow.
There's a company out there called You Need a Burger, and they were offering free burgers today. But it brought me to the point of, all right, what is the best burger? Like, you can't say it's not a fish sandwich. It's a burger. It has meat. First of all, is that define a burger? It has to be beef meat or no?
Well, no. Buffalo, like a bison burger.
Yeah, okay.
There we go. You know, so it doesn't necessarily have to be beef.
Okay.
Whether it's turkey or veggie, no.
So to be a burger, you definitely have to have 2 pieces of bread, right? At least?
Yeah, and like I've had a quesadilla burger. Applebee's used to, maybe still does, have a quesadilla burger, which was actually really good. But I don't know. I think if it's a burger, if it's a hamburger, you know, if it's a quesadilla burger, it's a quesadilla burger. But if it's a hamburger, traditional bun, beet in the middle.
What toppings go on a burger? Because I remember when you went to movies, you were pissed off because they put mustard on your burger.
Oh, all right. Lettuce, ketchup. That's it.
That's it. I thought maybe somebody else was talking to you. You were looking around. I thought somebody off camera was talking to you. It was great.
No, that was my version of you telling, like when you told me who was on your WNBA fantasy football fantasy basketball team.
Yes.
Which was funny as freaking hell.
So just lettuce, just ketchup. That's it.
Yeah.
Cheese.
I know, dude. What?
Cheese.
Man, yeah, I'll put cheese on it. Sure.
Onion.
Usually American. No. Mayo. No. Mustard. No. Pickle. No. Relish. No. No.
You know, it reminds me. I'm going to tell this story about my kid, and when we, you know, Trey was younger, he'd go through the drive-thru at McDonald's, and he graduated one day from the chicken nugget Happy Meal to the cheeseburger Happy Meal. And when we pulled up, I said, "Oh, you want to try the cheeseburger Happy Meal again?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "But tell them, what did he say? No pickles and no rice." And I said, "No pickles, no rice." And he goes, "Yeah, the little white rice they put on there." I go, "No, those are onions." He goes, "No, it's rice." I said, "Okay."
This was last week or the week before?
Right, exactly. This is like 20 years ago. So of course, the lady at the things, and I go, okay, we're ready. And she's like, can I have your order? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to get a cheeseburger Happy Meal, no pickle, no rice. And she goes, can you repeat that? And I'm like, yes, I'll have a cheeseburger Happy Meal for a boy, because you have to get the right toy,
Right.
with a Coke or whatever he was drinking. Before they used to, now they got the Wimp Happy Meal with sliced apples and fruit and milk and crap. That's not a Happy Meal. How is a kid happy eating that crap? So I had to continue to say no pickles, no rice. And then finally I told her, I'll just pull around. And I looked at her and I said, I let him lean over my seat and look at the lady, and he was all, I go ahead, tell her what you want. He's like, cheeseburger Happy Meal for a boy, and on a cheeseburger, no pickles, no rice. And she just started laughing, looking at me. So, anyway.
Well, that's when you have to go in the other direction and say, cheeseburger Happy Meal for a boy, only cheese and ketchup.
Yes.
That would have knocked out the whole 9 yards there. I get it. I always say, can I get a cheeseburger, only ketchup, or a cheeseburger plain? Can I get a cheeseburger plain? You're like, do you want that dry? No, I want a fucking plain.
No, I want you to dip it in a bucket of water before you wrap it.
Yeah.
Make sure it's nice
dry.
and juicy.
like plain ketchup and mayonnaise doesn't include plain. That's separate. That's over here in this bucket. Plain is in this bucket. Ketchup and mayonnaise is in this bucket. Yeah.
So what's the best burger you've had? Where's the best burger?
Well, that's the first thing I was wondering what your favorite was, but believe it or not, it's a chain restaurant that's really small, and it's a Drew Brees and another guy who's a football player somewhere, and it's a place called Walk-Ons.
Where's that?
Walk-Ons. This one was right off of Bourbon Street in New Orleans, and we flew San Antonio, probably had a layover somewhere, got to New Orleans for a conference for Brenda, and we walked around, and we couldn't find a place to eat, and we were just looking for something, and this was after Mardi Gras, so the place was like sparse, like nothing happening.
But the streets still smelled like urine, right?
Of course. And there's a place called Walk-Ons. Never been to it, never heard of it. Thought it was like a one-off thing, but it's a New Orleans restaurant. There's some in San Antonio now. I don't think there's any in Florida. Walked in, imagine that, walked into Walk-Ons and looked at the menu and saw that they had a burger with like cheese and blackened shrimp on it. And it was phenomenal. It was the best burger I ever had. I have a freaking picture of it. God, I wish I could look it up real quick. Just unbelievably good.
We're fat.
Really,
we're talking about
good.
burgers and looking at pictures of burgers. We're just fat. What happened?
Yeah. But yeah, it was actually really good. I'm sure the fries were fine too, but that burger.
So
and
that beats your Whataburger then, right? Because you're a Whataburger fan. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, we went to Whataburger last week. What a freaking disaster that was.
Oh boy, there goes that sponsor. Good.
Jacksonville Whataburger. And we pull in, and we're like, wow, there's a lot of employees here. So I'm like, okay, I know they're opening up another Whataburger nearby. Maybe they're training. I look into the kitchen. You could not see the back of the kitchen because there were so many orange shirts, so many employees.
What were they doing?
I'm guessing they were training because they were like all following each other around. So I go into the dining room, and it's not a traditional Whataburger, and it had probably 12 tables. And it was a table with customers. It was an empty table. And then there was 16 orange shirts, employees, standing around, sitting around, taking up all the tables.
All at $15 an hour.
Whatever. But yeah, luckily, I grabbed the last table because all these freaking orange shirts were sitting there all over the place. So we eat, get all done, walk outside, and there's 4 Whataburger employees leaning against our car. We're like, what the hell? Yeah, yeah.
Were they shooting up gang signs or what?
They might as well have been. I was by the time we got out of the restaurant, I was so pissed off.
Did any of them have grills in their mouth? You know, diamonds and gold teeth and stuff?
Yeah, they probably did, but I don't look them in the eye. I'm like,
long fingernails, scratching the
God.
computer. Christ. Did they have the order yourself stuff at Whataburger, or is that just McDonald's? Okay,
that's just McDonald's and Wendy's now. There's a Wendy's by the kids' preschool that had that. Actually, and that's the only option they had. There were no people at registers. They just had all these little kiosks set up where you order yourself, and which sucks because I always get my soda, no ice, and you can't order on these kiosks, no ice on the soda. You know, first world problems. I want no ice in my freaking soda, jackass.
Hey, do you know who that is on the video? Do you know who that is?
Is that Kanye West? Is Kanye back?
No, it's not Kanye. No, it's DMX. No. You know why I'm bringing him up?
Because he's dead?
He died not long ago. You're correct. He's putting out a new album now.
Hey! He'll probably sell more than he ever has. It's usually how it works, right?
That's why I think he's on that island. Michael Jackson's there, JFK's there, MLK's there, Tupac, Biggie. Anybody that's worth more dead than they are alive is on this island. So Elvis, all these people.
Black people and John Lennon? That must be weird.
Anyway, his new album, Exodus,
imagine that,
also features Jay-Z, Nas, Bono, and Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne old
don't
now?
Let me forget Snoop Dogg, Griselda, who's DMX's son is Exodus Simmons, who also appears on the record. So anyway, I just thought that was humorous because not too long after Tupac died, I saw him at a Georgia truck stop, and I got a picture of him, and here's what I'm going to do. I will share that picture with whoever signs up in the next week as something. So do the monthly thing with us. Sign up on Twitch. Just become one of our followers on Twitch. Anybody who is a new member to our team and what we're trying to do here over the next week, you're going to get the free picture of Tupac at a Georgia truck stop after he died. That ought to entice you to go out and get your friends to follow us. Anybody that follows us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, any of these places, you just have to be a new member on any one of these things in the next 7 days, and you'll get that picture, that elusive exclusive that I have, Tupac at a truck stop in Georgia after he died.
That's a bargain at twice the price.
Disney's in the news.
No.
They're always in the news.
That's Disney World during Christmas time.
That's a picture of the Magic Kingdom right there. You're absolutely correct. Disney opts for 50th anniversary celebration. This is according to WDWNT. That's Walt Disney News Today. They're opting to celebrate their 50th anniversary very low key. Zero nostalgia. They're just trying to... Yes, they're acknowledging it, and yes, they have some POP and merchandise and signs, and yes, they talk about it, and it's a point to get to the park, but they're not going to make a big deal out of it.
Well, my guess on why, they actually had a huge celebration in the works. They're redoing Epcot completely, rebranding the whole thing, adding this, adding that, Gardens of the Galaxy, new rides here, new rides there, and COVID hit, and all the construction stopped, and this stopped, and that stopped, and they closed the parks down, the whole 9 yards. And now, everything is like it never happened, and they're behind a year, so they can't get all those buzzers and whistles done by October, because October 1st, 2021 would be the 50th anniversary to the day. So all their buzzers and whistles aren't freaking done, and their I's aren't dotted, T's aren't crossed. So they're now being caught with their pants down. So of course it's going to be low key. This is how we planned it all along. It's going to be, in the background. 50 years, no big deal.
They also go on to point out that there was a delay in a lot of projects they had going on. Something called Remy's Ratatouille Adventure from the movie.
In France at Epcot.
Opened in Disneyland Paris in 2014, was supposed to open at Epcot in 2020, but Disney stalled, delayed, and even halted construction on other attractions planned for the 50th anniversary, most notably Tron Light Cycle Run and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Yep.
But they also go on to say that Disney hasn't hit a ride opening deadline in Florida in many years, so it's kind of, this is how it goes. And this is when their rival, when the people that are stealing market share from them, Universal, is just completed the Velocicoaster. So why can Universal do stuff like this, but Disney, supposedly the giant, the king, they can't get their crap together?
Oh God, it was a while ago, but I remember when the part of the Pop Century Hotel was done. I actually met, while I was in the mortgage business, one of the guys who was in charge of doing a lot of those weird iconic structures that they had. Like for the 90s, they had a cell phone. In the 50s, they had a gigantic bowling pin. And he talked about how God, impossible it was to work with Disney. And if they saw like the smallest flaw in something, that they would reject it and have them remake it. And just, how impossible they were to work with. So I could see where, these companies that do this stuff jumped ship and went to Universal. It's, I guess, whoever the easiest to work with is not as good as whoever the highest bidder is, or the highest payer. I'd rather have my sanity than have the extra couple dollars that Disney would shell out for stuff like this, and work with Universal. That I could see. So yeah, Universal's getting things done, and Disney, in their usual fashion, is they're falling by the wayside. So.
Well, Disney is also in the news for another reason as well. Apparently, people aren't happy with this Skyliner ride again.
They're not happy with it, or is it just crashing?
Yeah,
again?
well, we've talked about it before ad nauseum, I'm sure. But this Skyliner ride, it was an interesting little piece I saw on InsideTheMagic.net. Fans are upset with the changes happening on the Disney Skyliner. Yada, yada, yada.
Changes.
Disney World continues its phased approach. It would have been nice if during my show prep I would have read this article.
Just highlight stuff. Right on the screen, just highlight. No? Well, I always thought it was kind of strange and archaic that they would come up with this as a mode of transportation. The monorail is still a cool idea, and if you could put it around a lake, you could put a monorail anywhere. Why not go with the monorail? Was it that much more expensive than this thing that barely works? This archaic type of transportation. They took it out of the Magic Kingdom for a reason.
Yeah.
People besides the fact that people were dying on it.
Well, remember when they used to have the Sky Buckets, basically the same ride with no windows. And you used to be able to, hock a loogie on somebody.
You went from Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, you went from Tomorrowland to like the edge of Fantasyland. So, my understanding in 1999, somebody working overnight was working the ride and doing maintenance and lost his footing and grabbed onto one of the gondolas as it went up, and he couldn't hold on anymore, and he kind of splatted on the sidewalk in Tomorrowland. Overnight maintenance guy. And that's when they closed it down, rid of it. Yeah. But, why get rid of it in Magic Kingdom and then also in 20 years try to reinvent the wheel and you put one all over your park?
Well, apparently what the problem is they're making people share the cars with other people. In other words, now that you're in an enclosed area, you may have a family of 5, but maybe the thing seats 6, so they're going to put a single in with your family. And I don't remember it being that way when the buckets were there. You know, if you had 2 people, if you had 4 people, if you had 5 people, your group was in your car and that was it. So here I am in an enclosed box in a pandemic. Yeah, I'll put that in air quotes. And you're going to put somebody else in this car with me who I don't know is not part of my family and is probably speaking another language. I'm out. I just want my people in the car.
I actually was thinking about that the other day when you when you took me aside. You're like, Mike, come here. Let's take a walk through Epcot, which happened to be shift lead 3 or shift lead 2, whatever section you were working by the bar. Yeah, but I remember like when I was little that you would end up like sharing rows in certain rides with like other people.
Yeah.
Like on It's a Small World and stuff like that. And then they kind of did away with that, where like it didn't matter if you were 2 people or 4 people, they would put you in your own row or in your own gondola in this case. But yeah, like you have a single rider. Is there a single rider line? Do you need a single rider line for a gondola that goes from the Caribbean Beach Resort to freaking Studios?
Craziness. But, you know, people... And it's Disney's own fault, though. And let me tell you why. Because Disney sets the standard. We talked about this before. The communities... Not only the other attractions, the other businesses, but the communities around Disney have taken this beautification. You know, they follow Disney's lead on stuff, and it just, people have a different level of expectation. It's almost unfair in reality. To be real, it is almost unfair, but they've set that standard. Now they have to keep it. And when they're trying these new things, sometimes they're coming up short. It is what it is. I get it, but if you can't meet that high expectation of people spending 10 grand saving all their lives to come here the one time from Nebraska, if you screw that up, you're out.
I totally agree. After I worked for both theme parks, you know, I worked for Hard Rock, I worked for Lane Tourist Cafe, I worked for Ruby Tuesday, and the management was brutal. You're like, yeah, our customer service is blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know, totally understandable, but look what we're being compared to.
Right.
You know, the people that come into Ruby Tuesday are people that work at Disney, work at Universal. They're used to a certain standard. They know of a certain standard.
Right.
Ruby Tuesday is freaking Ruby Tuesday. Yeah. You want your sirloin tips? Come to Ruby Tuesday. You need a salad bar? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, sir. The tips, I'll give you the whole thing right now. Not just the tip, okay? If you notice, I'm donning a KISS shirt today. This is the first show without a Cheap Trick shirt.
And we're show 24. Wow.
Now, this doesn't include the lost episodes, of course. So
the lost episodes.
One day you'll be buying those on Amazon, the Mike and both Mike's lost episodes. So.
Right.
But I decided that after 23 shirts, and I'm not sure if I could find another one, I just decided to go with KISS. That's another one of my lifelong bands, you know. Since 6th grade, I remember liking KISS.
Is there a Cheap Trick connection? Did Cheap Trick open for KISS on that show?
They have, but that's not the direct connection. It's just I was ready to move on to something else, and I fell into the Cheap Trick thing. And, you know, if you look at both those bands, they're kind of theatrical. They're kind of out there. They kind of put themselves out there. They're kind of over the top. So I think maybe that's the commonality between those two. Maybe that's why I like them both.
Look, Ron John shirt.
Was that Ron John?
Yep. The original Ron John, Long Beach Island, New Jersey.
Well, let's get them as a sponsor. Shit.
Right? Why not?
All right. Well, we're almost winding down here. We got like 120 left. So, you got anything else to add? You got anything else? Anybody you're mad
at? No. Yeah, all's good. Like I said, vacation. Heading back to San Antonio tomorrow. We're gonna be staying at some kind of, I don't know, hotel by the airport. They got a pool. We're gonna go swimming for a change.
All right.
Kids love going swimming. All that 9 yards. And then that's tomorrow, Saturday. Tomorrow's Saturday.
Yep.
Sunday, and then Monday we gotta pack up somewhere around lunchtime and get back on I-10 and head east.
All right. I like it.
And stop at all the Buc-ee's along the way.
Well, you can catch me on this weekend if you do see this show in time here. On 5/29 Saturday, I will be making an appearance at the Apopka Balloon Glow, which should be interesting. But hey, before we go, I want to ask you a couple quick questions here. 20 seconds left. Go check out Gino Losi if you're looking to fish with Gino. Check out the Melon Patch Theater and check out what'shotinflorida.com, our Facebook pages for What's Hot in Florida and our other Facebook page for both Mikes. And we're out of here.
Thank you, guys.